Welcome to the Hiscall Technology Podcast, where we are communicating tomorrow's business needs today. From just outside Nashville, Tennessee, join Hiscall as we discuss all things telephony, data, and infrastructure related to business leaders. Here we go.
Welcome to the Hiscall Technology Podcast. This is Chuck in the Studio C once again, and I'm honored to have a repeat guest. Tom Ward is joining me here in Studio C bright and early on Tuesday morning. Tom, good morning.
Good morning, Chuck.
Appreciate you getting up and getting to the studio early this morning so we can get this recorded.
Yeah, it's we're both kind of got schedules going all kinds of different directions, so this was the best time we could do it.
Yep, it's going to be good. Tom and I are recently attended AVAYA Engage. Me, Tom, and Bruce Moore attended, and we're just going to kind of recap some of the things we learned at AVAYA Engage and talk about that. It's some pretty exciting stuff that happened out there and some things that we learned. It's a good event. And Tom, just initial highlights or overviews or thoughts on AVAYA Engage?
Well, in AVAYA Engage, it's conference that's been going on for quite some time, and it's always been my favorite conference with AVAYA, and primarily because that is where they bring in all the product managers of the different solutions, and you can actually talk to the product managers one-on-one and get their ideas, kind of after they'll do a presentation. You can go up and talk to them and explain to them scenarios and customer situations that are important that, in all of these manufacturers, their ability to get input from people on the ground is somewhat limited. They sometimes think they know, but it's always good to be able to give them some firsthand knowledge of what you're seeing in the market and what they can do, and then they can also explain to you what they see as challenges and what they're planning to do about that with their product. And it's the best back and forth that you can do, and you can do that with multiple, product managers, because any manufacturer like AVAYA, who's large, they've got lots of different products, and each one has a product manager. So that's kind of one of the things I love about it. Not to mention being able to interface with some people that I've known for years and catch up, and that's always a great time. Plus the event location is always great as well, and it was this year. Yeah,
this year it was in Orlando at Epcot. It's an event that's put on in cooperation with AVAYA and IAUG, the AVAYA user group. It is a great show, lots of great information, as Tom mentioned. One of the things that stood out to me was just the sheer number of breakout sessions.
There was so many.
Yeah, it was the breadth and the depth of the information they covered was really astounding. It was impressive.
Of course, we're nerds, so that kind of helps. But the fact that we went to every breakout that we could, all the way to the very last breakout. Right. That tells you that there is just so much great information. We were sitting there and we're like, well, gosh, we really need to go to this one to learn about this or that. And you didn't want to miss a single time slot because seemed like there was 2 or 3 breakouts that you wanted to go see.
Most of them were only one session. You didn't have like a morning session, afternoon session. So if you missed it, you just were out of luck. You
weren't going to get that.
Download the PowerPoint slides.
Yeah.
It was great. There were 3 of us from Hiscall there.
So we could divide and conquer.
Divide and conquer, exactly right. So it was good. But they did repeat the UC and the Contact Center Roadmap breakout sessions, which I was really grateful for. I attended the Contact Center first, and you attended the UC one. And they had the repeat of the UC and Contact Center later in the day, and I was very thankful for that. And it was late in the day on the last day, and
But 4:30, I believe it was, on the last day of a long 3-day conference, and 4:30 in the afternoon, and we're still sitting there soaking it up. But we weren't the only ones. There was a good number of people in both those breakouts once
sure
again.
was.
So that tells you that it wasn't just a couple of Hiscall guys in there. It was a big crowd.
Right. It really was. It was
the conference, 2,500.
Yeah,
So, something like that.
I think there were at least a couple of thousand, 3,000 people there on site, and then they had the virtual option as well, and there were people joining from all around the world to see it virtually.
Yeah, we were in that one, and that guy had said he'd flown in from Australia.
That's right. It was really good to catch up with people. It's reassuring that you see people that you've seen in the industry for a long time. We ran into a former Hiscall employee even that
who lives out west now. Yeah,
lives out west now. That was a lot of fun. So we talk about AVAYA Engage. There will be people listening to the podcast that not all that familiar with AVAYA, and I was reminded of the strength of AVAYA and their customer base, and I made a few notes here that AVAYA supports over 6 million contact center seats. And so there was a lot of focus.
Yeah, that's not hard to even understand.
Not hard to understand.
No, it is hard. I mean, hard to get the concept of the depth and breadth of 6 million.
6 million.
Contact center seats.
Yep. 8,000 channel partners and agents globally. That's a big number.
And the number of countries was huge, too.
Yeah. That's right. I don't remember. I mentioned to you before.
Yeah, it was over 100.
I had some of that stuff.
It was over 100 different countries. Yeah. So I remember one lady was the utility for Dubai.
A couple other things that I noted. I believe it was the CEO Allen that mentioned 10 out of 10. So the top 10 airlines use AVAYA. They highlighted Southwest as a customer highlight while we were at Engage.
Well, yeah, those, Southwest and I know Delta spoke there in the past. They want to be at the best and forefront of customer service. The thing that kept coming up was CX, which That's is right. our, we have to make an acronym of everything in our industry. And CX means customer experience. Mm-hmm. And that just kept coming up over and over and over about customer experience because, that being 6 million contact center seats, AVAYA is considered the leader in contact center. They've got all of these people with not just 100 agents, thousands of agents. Mm-hmm. And those people are wanting to know what AVAYA is doing going forward, and AVAYA had a pretty strong story to tell them.
Yeah. So when you think about customer experience and AVAYA's contact center, what we heard, was there anything that stood out to you?
Everything is, the buzzword of the year is AI, artificial intelligence. So AI is going to make a significant impact in customer experience and how you but, we've been moving towards something along AI ever since we started in this industry. And that is, when we first started, the agents, it was how to distribute the call the best. And then it was, hey, let's get this thing where you can just talk to something over the telephone by punching in touch tones, and we called that interactive voice response. And so that it can do database dips and all of that type of thing. So it just, I see AI as just the next iteration of that, where you're able to do more and more without having to speak to somebody. And there were some funny stories about AI, and we can get into the a couple of those if we want. But it was just there was how AI was going to transform the contact center, and how AVAYA was going to provide a platform that you can more or less get with multiple different companies that are going to be able to provide AI integration for your industry. And, so unlike some of our other manufacturers that are smaller, well, they're trying to do a little bit of this in-house and a little bit of that in-house. And AVAYA is much more, we have the platform, we have the software engine that's going to allow you to integrate all of these specialty applications that either you can design on your own or somebody is writing for your industry.
Yeah, really good. AI was a hot topic. Statistics or information that stood out to me, I believe, came from a Variant breakout session, and they talked about AI generating these after call notes, and that they could automate the after call notes to save an agent like 3 minutes. They said the average agent spends 3 minutes after a call documenting the notes of what happened on that call. And so with artificial intelligence, the system can document those notes, save an agent 3 minutes, get the agent back online and ready to do what they need to be doing in taking care of customers. And that's a big deal. When you think about 6 million agents at 3 minutes each.
Yeah. That some of these contact centers were 10,000 plus agents,
right?
Saving 3 minutes per agent. I mean, goodness
turn that
gracious,
into dollars. That's big impact.
Yeah, and also it's something that most agents don't like to do,
right?
And that's what we've always heard is the reason if somebody just wants to get their bank balance. Back in 20 years ago, let them get that from the an IVR. Don't just make somebody have the more complex stuff to an agent. Well, AI is just driving that to where that your contact center agents are going to be that much more the specialized. I don't know if that's the right term, but they're going to get even more basic stuff out of the way through AI.
Let the agents do what they do best and do what's most important in the customer interaction, whatever that might be for your industry. But let the system do the sort of mundane things. Bruce and I were talking about that, and I'm convinced that AI is probably going to be a more consistent and better note taker than an agent's going to be.
Oh, absolutely right, because it's got the full transcript, and it can mine what's relevant in that transcript and lay it out right into for managers to be able to go back and review, without having to read the totality of the conversation.
Exactly. It's going to be exciting to see how artificial intelligence changes everything for us, but especially in the contact center, it's going to be really exciting. One of the things that they highlighted out there is customer experience. Experiences matter. Another thing was innovation without disruption. And I wanted to talk about that for just a second, if that's good. Why is that important to Avaya, Tom? Innovation without disruption. One of the things you said is we should have been talking about this 5 years ago.
Yeah, Avaya, they didn't come out and say it, but they're a little behind in creating a solution to incorporate these more advanced cloud technologies. I'm not sure exactly why that is, but Avaya has now a platform called Avaya AXP. That's Avaya's acronym.
Avaya Experience
Platform. Yeah, I was going to say Portal, but they used EP they used Portal for another product. Avaya's has a tendency to name things that have the same letters, but anyway, so the new Experience platform is the way for these huge contact centers to incorporate additional cloud applications. It's not a new product. It's more or less an update of an existing product that they've had for a while. But
one cloud private.
Yeah, but the key is it's going to give a migration or an enhancement to these 6 million agents that allow them to continue on with the Avaya platform that they love. And you can say what you want about Avaya and their recent difficulties financially, that they've come out on the other side of that. Those customers love the product, and it was evident with that. And Avaya, they are desperate for Avaya to give them this, what they were talking about. So the amount of excitement from these customers and partners who's saying, okay, great, we've got a good path forward to enhancing and in deploying these new things that are coming at them like crazy with cloud applications. It's something that's creating a lot of excitement in that base, especially if you've got 4,000 agents. You're not looking to go to anything else. You want the thing you've already spending the money on to do what you need it to do. And Avaya was I thought they had a very good story to give those people excitement, and it was showing through. There was a lot of excitement in the at the conference about Avaya's direction.
I talked to a colleague, that's a former Avaya colleague, that's now at another company, and where he works now, he takes care of contact centers with thousands of agents, tens of thousands of agents. And one of the things that he said is they're so focused on maintaining the system with upgrades and everything and just keeping the system going that they have a hard time focusing on innovation. So being able to innovate without disrupting everything is a big deal. And so for Avaya to be able to come to their 6 million contact center agents, those businesses that are driving that, and say, look, here's how we're going to help you innovate and add new technologies and solutions through cloud enablement is a big deal. I said one cloud private. That's actually what is now they told out there at Engage, Avaya Enterprise Cloud, not Experience Platform. Two different products. So the Enterprise Cloud being a single tenant, one customer per virtual machine, can be deployed in Microsoft Azure now. So that's a big deal. For what CEO Allen said is every customer is on some journey to the cloud.
Correct.
Not that they're going to move everything to the cloud, but they are going to enable some cloud applications to enhance their business, to innovate and do things in new ways. And what Avaya would want you to do is choose them to do that. And they talked a lot about Experience Platform, Enterprise Cloud, and then there was the Experience Platform Connect, which was how you get your premise-based system talking to
the cloud. And that's what a lot of the people are really excited about.
Exactly.
It's like, hey, you show me all these great things that you're doing in the cloud. How do I get this thing I've got potentially millions invested in to be able to do that? And that's what Avaya was showing. And so that's where the excitement was. Yeah. So it was it was a good conference. It really was. It
was a good conference, and I was wishing some of our customers were there. We needed some of our customers to be there to know that some of the technologies and things that they're doing, but so now we're back and we got to be the ones that communicate and take it to them.
Exactly. Say, hey, this is what's going, and obviously that every time it gets filtered through another person, you lose some of it. So
that's right.
But we just got to be the most effective communicator we can be to those customers so that they can understand, hey, this is the path forward. But yeah. So and the CEO of not going to belabor on some of the past, but this CEO seemed to be able to communicate well and seemed to understand the market. Let's just say he seemed to get it pretty well.
Yeah, it seems to me that he's interested in the business. It seems to me he's interested in these 8,000 partners that Avaya has, and I'm kind of excited about that.
Yeah, well, and he was not afraid to say, hey, we know this is a challenge from the stage at the big general sessions. We know this is a challenge, and we're fixing it.
Yeah,
that was it was. He said, he goes, we had a challenge of our financial situation when he took the reins back right at a year ago.
10 months ago.
10 months ago, yeah. And he said, we've gotten through that. Mm-hmm. He says, and now we've restructured our balance sheet, and we're in much better position going forward. And and by the way, here's this challenge, and we're taking care of that.
Right. Yeah, that's what he's very positive, and leaves you feeling good about the position.
Well, there's been some times in the past where we've had some people at that level in AVAYA that didn't seem to understand what the situation.
Yeah.
And this guy seemed to understand the situation. Now let's just see what he can do with it.
Yeah. Well, it's, I think that focus has even filtered down to Hiscall. Our channel account manager today is very much more involved than we've had recently. He's doing a great job. Scott, I'll give you a little shout out right there. He's doing a great job. And
I agree. I agree. Our interactions at I think the one thing that I have seen the change in the interactions with the manufacturer at Scott's level and Lee and some others, and I'm like, hey, this things seem to be better. And what I didn't realize is that goes all the way to the top now.
Yeah, sure does.
And that's a different scenario than we've had in the past.
That's exactly right. All right, well, Tom, what else we got about AVAYA Engage? Anything else we haven't talked about?
Obviously going to the cloud, that was interesting. There was, part of this and we don't know the details of it yet, but part of this scenario with AVAYA incorporating with Microsoft Azure, there are some relationships with Microsoft that are different than our other manufacturers. And so, obviously, Microsoft controls the desktop unless you're an Apple shop. And so and AVAYA is announcing, with their integration with Azure, there was some hints that there's going to be some announcements within the next quarter, let's just say, of this partnership. And apparently, when the restructuring came about late last year and early this year, their relationship with Microsoft changed. And so, what all that looks like, we don't know. But it was hinted, and AVAYA was excited. Microsoft spoke at the event. They were excited. So we'll stay
tuned.
Stay tuned. But it's we're the curiosity has got me and Chuck, and Chuck went to a breakout on exactly how better ways to integrate with Microsoft Teams. Not much. Well, you were there. It was anything at all revealed there, except stay tuned. Big stuff's about to come out.
Yeah, no, they highlighted some of the technical options and capabilities of integrating with Teams. We've seen Teams adoption skyrocket, and we know that it doesn't do everything as a full suite of telephony applications and phone systems that we've grown accustomed to. But we do want to integrate, because some people like using that for various things, and the integration is important. And along that line,
and it's not very good. Microsoft has not created a solution that integrates very well at all. Many people want to integrate, but Microsoft, being Microsoft, created a solution that doesn't integrate very well, and Microsoft knows they don't integrate very well. And so the question is, it seems like they've teamed up with AVAYA to, figure out some. Yeah. So that's one of the things that we're excited about.
It's going to be very interesting to see what happens in the next few months. Something that is going to happen in the next few months, Tom, is our Hiscall Technology Showcase.
Absolutely.
And we are planning to have a vendor panel that talks specifically about different options of integrating with Microsoft Teams. So, Hiscall represents a number of telephony vendors, and they each integrate to Microsoft Teams in some way, in some fashion. And so we're going to have this panel where all of the vendors are going to be there and talk about the different ways that they integrate with Teams and how you can benefit from that. So if you're interested in the Hiscall Technology Showcase, go to our website, and all the information is right there, and get registered. It's going to be a great day So
yeah, and that hopefully all of this information will be out on the AVAYA integration at that time.
Yeah, sure, that's exactly right. So I don't know that they've registered. AVAYA has traditionally participated
in the showcase.
In the showcase, and I expect they'll be there this year. So we can get more details at the booth there.
Yeah, and more to come on Hiscall Technology Showcase.
More to come. All right, Tom. Anything else?
Just that Orlando's a great place. The facility was great. Conference was great. Getting to and from was not great.
Right? No, that's true. Yeah, I drove, so I had 12 hours of windshield time. And but you flew and encountered your own difficulties. There were storms in Orlando, and flights were being canceled and delayed right and left, and so there was a sea of people waiting in the airport, either with flights canceled or waiting because their flights had been delayed because there were so many storms in Orlando. There were some people had firsthand experience with customer service at the airline, didn't they?
Actually, I had a really neat experience with a text bot. Never spoke to a person. Was able to get I put in my information. It came back and said, "Oh, I see your flight was canceled. What would you like to do? Would you like to rebook? Would you like to get a airline credit, or would you like to get your money back?" I mean, and it took literally. It started with a text to this and opened a web page, and I was able to ask for a refund for my canceled flight, and literally, a minute and a half. It was incredible, and I'm like, oh, this is customer experience.
Yeah,
and I and after we've been drilled on customer experience it was a firsthand knowledge of what that can be like. And I didn't even have to speak to somebody.
Yeah, it was impressive enough that you called me and told me about it. So, hey, let me tell you what just happened here.
Well, yeah, you were driving. You had plenty of time, and I had a canceled flight, so I had plenty of time. So we were catching up on lots of different things. But yeah, overall, the conference was good. There's probably a few things that we're forgetting that came up, but yeah, it was a good time.
So if you want to find out more about Engage and find out what Tom has forgotten about, he'll remember on his drive home today. So just call him. He's always good to talk technology with. And if you're looking for a new solution, get in touch with Tom. He can put the right solution in your hands, in your lap, and help change your business. He's got a lot of customers. He's helped a lot of people here. All over the country, honestly. I started to say here in the Southeast, but all over the country you have. So thank you for all you do and the hard work. Sales is not easy, but you do a good job. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Chuck. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's just solving customer issues is what we do all day, and that really is what keeps us going. That's what we like to do.
That's right. That's exactly right. All right. Thank you so much for downloading the podcast. Joe, I probably didn't get it cut down in time to end for your commute, but we'll keep working on that. Anyway, thanks for listening. Until the next podcast, don't be afraid, only believe.
Thank you.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to the Hiscall Technology Podcast. Subscribe to this podcast so you can stay up to date with today's business communication trends. To learn more about Hiscall solutions for your business needs or to listen to previous podcasts, visit us at our website, hiscall.com.